Politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners.
I am the Rambling Madman.
I have this feeling, man, because there's a handful of people actually run everything. That's true. It's provable. It's not I'm not a conspiracy nut.
Motherfuckers are so sensitive, the whole country is turned into bitch-ass niggas.
Those mob fools want you gone so they can get back to the way things were. But I know the truth. There's no going back. You've changed things. Forever.
Then why do you want to kill me?
I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? Go back to ripping off mob dealers? No. You complete me.
You're garbage. You kills for money.
Don't talk like one of them. You're not. Even if you'd like to be. To them, you're just a freak. Like me. They need you right now. But when they don't, they'll cast you out. Like a leper. See, their morals, their code. It's a bad joke. Dropped at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other. See, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Ramblings of a Madman. I am your host, Mark Ciccarello Jr., a.k.a. The Rambling Madman, and today I'm coming at you with episode 22. It's a new day. It's a different day for the show. Usually these episodes, I try to put them out every Thursday, and I'm switching things up a bit. I feel like it might be better for me personally if I release the episodes every Monday instead of every Thursday, just, as far as scheduling-wise and making the episodes. I think it might work out a bit better if I have the entire weekend to work on the episode before the episode comes out. And so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to be posting on episodes on Mondays. I'm going to see how that works for a while, and if I don't like it, I might change it back, or I might change it to Fridays, or I might change it to whatever the fuck I want to change it to, because this is my show. All right, and I hope you guys are all having a great day today. I am currently, listening to music with one of the Discord server members as I record this. He's a pretty cool dude. Shout out to Nico in the Discord server over in Europe, actually. So shout out Nico, and so let's get things rolling. I definitely I gotta say before, like I do every week, if you guys are enjoying the show and you want to see the show grow and continue to get great topics and just help the show in general, please consider liking and sharing all my posts on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you see my posts. Go ahead and give them a share, like, comment, interact with me. If you see something I say and you want to state your opinion, you want to argue with me, feel free. I'm always looking to hear other opinions, contrary opinions to those that I hold myself. So feel free to interact with my shit. I mean, no hard feelings if you have a contrary opinion to myself. I mean, listen, they're all opinions, and we're all just looking to better the world and better society and better each other each and every day. And with that being said, I told you to like and share my posts, interact with my posts. Also, if you feel as though I'm doing a great job on this podcast, you're enjoying this podcast, you like listening to it every week, think about maybe donating to the Patreon account. Patreon link can be found in the episode description wherever you may be listening to this episode. Also, the link to the merch store where you can buy Ramblings of a Madman merch. I know it's not the best merch store layout, but there is a merch store. I think the merch looks pretty decent. So if you want to check it out, we have all types of shit. We have baby onesies. Your kid can be the coolest kid in daycare. We have coffee mugs. We have throw pillows, t-shirts, hoodies. iPhone cases, anything you may want, you can get in Ramblings of a Madman style. So go ahead and check those out, and help me grow the show, and I'd greatly appreciate it. If not, keep listening. Just listening helps grow the show as well. So without going on too much here, I want to jump into the topic of today's episode, which is just society in general, society in general, and society being dependent on a system. I had originally planned to maybe do an episode on the agenda against meat, and then at the last second, I just felt like I should really do this, because this is a topic that I've been talking about a while talking about a lot this week with a few different people, and it's really got me thinking, and I really like to hear other people talk about this, so maybe you guys may enjoy hearing me talk about it, and kind of just, I'm kind of like picking my own brain here, figuring things out as I speak on the go, and that's what I like about the show, is that I don't necessarily have many notes for this show, but I just kind of talk as it comes to my brain, and it feels more natural to me that way. I feel like I get a better show that way. If I'm trying to read notes, and it just doesn't flow right for me. That's not the kind of guy I am. I'm a very real guy. I'm very upfront, off the top of my head. I say what's on my mind, and I say it proudly. So I played that clip from The Dark Knight, the clip of the Joker. It's from the scene when Batman is interrogating the Joker, trying to find out where Harvey Dent is, and what the Joker says there is kind of pretty awesome, I think. And that's what I loved about, the Dark Knight movies, the trilogy, whatever. The Joker always actually had a valid point. And a lot of the things that he said. And he's the villain, right? And he's the bad guy, and he's evil, but yeah, he had a lot of valid points. So when I say what I'm about to say, touch on society from a few different aspects here. I want you to think about me in the sense of what the Joker says to end that clip. I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve. I say the things that nobody else wants to say because I'm prepared. Because I can see things could be going in a certain direction. But I'm not going to be the person who's caught with his pants down when shit does actually hit the fan, if that makes sense. So the first thing that was bothering me this week, it was on my mind, and I talked to somebody about it, and so if society were to collapse, right? If society were to collapse, and I think society now, as we know it in 2021, is closer to a collapse than it has ever been before in the history of modern society, and modernized, industrialized society. And I feel like we are closer to a societal collapse than ever before. And my question is, what do you think is going to happen when, possibly inevitably, right, society does collapse? What's going to happen? I mean, we live in a society where there's no real men anymore. Or there's real men, but they're diminishing. There's very few in numbers. There's no men who just the men who keep their head down and just do what they have to do every day, day after day. They're kind of diminishing, and we're made to be weak. We're made to just be very weak individuals, and it's not just men, but the reason I focus on men so much is because if a possible societal collapse happens and we're living in a scenario like it's the end of the world, post-apocalyptic, The Walking Dead, The Road, whatever, you're going to need the basic, the stereotypical male role in order to survive. And you're going to need the stereotypical female role in order to survive as well. I mean, and there are two roles that are being pushed out with society as we make progress, and we with the progressive movements, and the stereotypical male patriarch is gone. Most people don't. Young people my age don't see a strong male as being a centerpiece or an integral part of a family any longer. I think single parent households, I feel as though they are being pushed more and more. Definitely a lot of stuff being pushed here that is very, opposite that of typical, natural human behavior. And what I mean by natural human behavior, if you look back, a few hundred years ago, all right, look back. Actually, let's go back even further than a few hundred years ago to when humans were still like hunters and gatherers, and there was no civilization at all. Before there was civilization, there were like hunters and gatherers, and the men would go and hunt for their village or their tribe or whatever. The women would stay home and take care of the kids. The women would cook and take care of the kids and do that kind of stuff, while the men went and hunted and protected their village or their people or whatever. Now I'm talking about a societal collapse where society as you know it is not there anymore. So the little things that we do to change how humans were when they were without society are going to be a detriment to them when society collapses, because nobody cares about feelings in a world without society. So, all that being said, say something ginormous happens, and I don't know, we go to war, and we get nuked, right? Like a Fallout situation. So we get nuked, and there's only so many of us that survive because we go into underground bunkers or whatever, and so we get nuked, and there's maybe 1,000 people left in the United States. Well, what if 75% of those people are dependent on psych meds? What if they're like a lot of people are? I don't know the statistics. I from what I see with my own ears and see when I see with my own eyes and hear with my own ears, it seems like more people than not are on some type of psych medication or going to therapy or whatever. And if they miss doses of these medications, or if they miss sessions of therapy, they cannot function. They cannot function without their drugs or their therapy. Well, what happens if most of the people left are like that in a post-apocalyptic America? A Fallout situation where, you come out of the bunker, you open the bunker, and all you see is a vast wasteland, right? Well, those people aren't going to survive. If they even survive to the point where they would be coming out of the bunker in the first place, say they had stockpiles of meds. But anyway, once those meds run out, you're not going to survive. It's just plain simple. You are dependent. You can survive, but it's going to be very hard. And it's going to be detrimental to the people that you're with, who aren't dependent on therapy, who aren't dependent on psych meds, who aren't dependent on meds in general, whatever you want to call it. Weed, I'll classify weed as a med too, because I know people who use weed to cope with their mental problems, depression, whatever. What if you don't have weed? What if you don't have psych meds, whether it be Xanax, Klonopin, whatever you psych meds you can think of? What if they just disappeared because of the situation, like a nuclear fallout situation? I guarantee people would go nuts. Then you even think about the people who are addicted because of doctors, because of the pharmaceutical industry, to opiates, and people who are just getting prescription after prescription of Percocet and OxyContin and Vicodin. What are they going to do? It's almost like we're so we were designed to be dependent on this society, to be dependent on these drugs and the way of becoming soft, really. to make us not be able to function without it. So if something it should hit the fan, I feel like there would be a lot of people who commit suicide based on the sheer pressure alone of having to live without going to therapy and talking your feelings out, based on the number of people who are going to be without their psych meds for the first time in a long time, based on just how society is in general. Even if you're not in therapy or dependent on psychological medications or opioids or whatever, society is just soft. We're just soft. Like I said before, how many real men do you know? And when I say real men, I don't want people to get confused. Being a real man is not toxic masculinity. It's not toxic to be a real man. It's nothing. It even has nothing to do with sexuality. Like I couldn't care less who anybody has sex with. I love the show Californication, about a writer, about an author in California, and it's a great show. And the writer's best friend, Charlie Runkle, he has a very funny quote, and he says, "Well, holes is holes. Well, holes is holes. I don't care who you fuck. I don't care if you want to suck dick or if you're a girl and you want to be with a woman. It doesn't matter to me." So when I say real men and real women are disappearing, it has nothing to do with sexuality. Even John Wayne is rumored to have been gay. Many of the historical male macho man historical figures were rumored to have been secretly in the closet, and so it has nothing to do with being gay or straight or whatever. It just has to do with, the strong stereotypical male patriarch is nowhere to be found. Almost like when they designed the welfare system and they designed the ghettos and to take the father figure away from black families, which they successfully did. But now it's like they're taking it a step further. It's like taking the father figure out of the black community was an experiment of sorts to see how things would go when that happens. And now they're taking that experiment and they're applying it to a larger population. And they're saying, well, what if we take these roles away, these natural roles away from humans? And it is natural that, we all have biological urges, natural biological urges. Like, people have the urge to procreate. That's why we want to have sex, so we can reproduce. So, with that being said, it really makes me feel as though that's the main thing that would be a detriment to humans in the post-apocalyptic scenario. I can't see it turning out very well for the majority of people. It's almost like when Tony Soprano says, he's like, whatever happened to the strong, silent type? Gary Cooper. Well, yeah, whatever did happen to the strong, silent type. The people or the men who were able to just do their job and do what they're supposed to do and keep their head down, punch in, punch out, and just keep doing it every day until they die. And I'm not saying that I support working until you have no time left, but the idea that there's nobody out there who's able to do the hard work, there's nobody out there who's able to mentally strong enough to do it. It's kind of scary, and it kind of makes you wonder. Makes you wonder about a lot of things, really. Like, what would society or what would the world look like without society? And it's not a world that I'd like to see. It'd be very sad for a lot of people. Another thing about society that's been weighing on my mind is parenting. Parenting in general. I had a conversation with somebody a few weeks ago, and it was about animals and children, and like, basically what I ended up saying was, listen, if my son thinks that he's a bunny rabbit, and he comes to me and he tells me that he's a bunny rabbit, that's not okay. Like, if he legitimately thinks that he's a bunny rabbit, and I'm not going to coddle him and tell him that it's okay to be a bunny rabbit, because it's not. Especially if he legitimately believes that he's a bunny rabbit. Because it's not okay to believe that you were a bunny rabbit as a human. So I would tell him, sternly, you are not a bunny rabbit. And if he threw a temper tantrum, then so be it. But he's not a bunny rabbit, so I'm not going to let my son be a bunny rabbit. And then somebody says to me, well, you should just support him, and he'll figure it. No, that's not what we do here. This is how we get to where we are in society today. By being soft. Why would I want my son to legitimately think that he's a bunny rabbit? That's like one of the biggest mistakes that I see with society today. Like, if a human being thinks that they're an animal, or thinks that there's something that they're not, there's something wrong with them mentally. Not to say that they're a bad person or they're worthless individuals, but there is something wrong with them in their brain that is making them think that they are something that they are not. So why would we normalize that? Instead of helping them, talking to them, trying to help them understand and comprehend and break through whatever is going on in their brain, we normalize them. We tell them, it's okay, you're a bunny rabbit. You are a bunny rabbit. And anybody who calls you anything other than a bunny rabbit is wrong. And they're mean and they're cruel. And they deserve to be canceled. And they're racist or speciesist or sexist or transphobic. Because they see with their own eyes that you aren't a bunny rabbit. That doesn't matter. Because you are. And I gotta ask myself, why is it like that? Why do we tell each other that we're evil and bad and mean for calling things like we see them? For saying things are as we see them with our own two eyes. And I think we know what the bunny rabbit is a metaphor for. And I don't have anything against people who are transgender. I don't have anything against them personally. They can make their own decisions. But at a certain point, we got to ask ourselves, why are the peoples who see it as it is the bad guy? If I see a woman and I say to her, how are you doing today, ma'am? If she believes that she's a boy inside, why is that my problem? That should be a problem that she's working through on her own, and people are helping her to see that she's not a man. She's a woman, because she was born with a vagina. That's like me saying I'm a millionaire. I'm not. I'm far from a millionaire. I would love to be a millionaire. But I'm not. And I can't say that I am. I can't prove that I am. My bank account doesn't say that I have $1 million in it. I don't drive a fancy, nice, super fancy car. Do I? No, because I'm not a millionaire. So why do we tell people who aren't a certain gender that they are a certain gender. Or that they can be anything they want. They can be all the genders. They can be no genders. Nobody's saying that it's bad to be a tomboy. Nobody's saying that it's bad to be feminine. But if you honestly believe that you are of the opposite gender, when you obviously have a certain set of genitalia, well, then there's something mentally going on with you, and you need to talk about that and get through it and work through it. And this isn't the same thing as conversion camps either. Like conversion camps exist for gay people, like so they can convert back to, you know, the normal, quote unquote normal, being straight for Jesus. No, that's fucked up that those exist. That really is fucked up that conversion camps exist, because as far as I know, you don't choose to be gay. I'm not gay, so I don't know for a fact, but from every gay person I've ever met, I don't think they chose to be gay. I think they just were gay. So yes, conversion camps are very fucked up. So if you want to suck dick, you want to be feminine, you want to dress like a lady, that's fine. But when we start targeting other individuals for not going along with going along and saying that you're a woman when you're a man, that's when I start to see the problem. Because we're just calling it how we see it. Whatever happened to trust the science? Whatever happened to that? You know, trust the science was until somebody claims that you're the gender that you have the genitalia for. Then we don't trust the science anymore, and then everybody's mean and insensitive and hurtful and saying hurtful things? No. That's not how it works. You don't get to pick when you trust the science, and then you can't force science on people in one regard and then completely disregard it in another. The science is that people are either born with a penis, or they're born with a vagina, or sometimes, in some cases, they're born with both, and that's a very rare case, and I'm not going to get into that. For the most part, humans are born with either or sex organ. That's the indisputable scientific fact. Right? Male's born with a penis, female's born with a vagina. It's just that simple. We don't have to complicate it. We don't have to do anything. That's just all it is. There's nothing wrong with being a tomboy. There's nothing wrong with being a girl who likes to dress in boy clothes. I think that's actually really cool when that happens. Like, if I had a daughter, I would want my daughter to be a tomboy. I think that would be really fucking cool. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a guy who's feminine and likes makeup and girl clothes and whatever. But don't tell me that I have to call him a man. Don't tell me that I have to call him a woman. I'm sorry. When he's not. He's a man. He has a dick. He's 45 years old. He's not a woman. Don't tell me I have to call something that it's not. That's really what I get fed up with in the world today, is that, you know, we live in make-believe land. We really live in make-believe land. And I talked to my father about this morning, and my dad, we were in the car on the way to the gym because we work out together on the weekends. I asked him, I said, when you were younger, what would your dad have done if you had went to him and said, Dad, I feel like a girl today, when you were a little boy? He said he probably would have smacked the shit out of me. And then that's that. So why is it any different today? I'm not saying you have to abuse your children, but like, if a little boy comes to his mother and he wants to wear high heels, he comes out walking with her high heels on. People today will take that as a sign of, oh, little Johnny thinks he's a woman. Look, he's a woman. Little Johnny's a girl, actually. That's how people think today. But no, maybe he just wanted to put the high heels on. Or if little Johnny comes to his mom, little 7-year-old Johnny comes to his mom and he says, Mommy, I think I'm a woman. I think I'm a girl. Instead of saying, no, honey, you're confused. You're not a girl, you're a boy. And explaining to him why he's a boy. Scientifically, of course, because we trust the science. Instead of explaining to him why he's a boy and not a girl, she goes out and buys him girl clothes. She goes out and buys him girl toys. And she goes out and tells people that he's a girl and encourages him to be a girl. No, he's just a kid. Kids say fucked up things all the time. Kids' brains are not formed yet. Don't form his brain for him. He's a boy. Tell him that he's a boy. Don't make him be a girl when he's not a girl. That's just what you should do as a parent. Like if your son literally believes that he's a bunny rabbit, don't tell him that he's a bunny rabbit. You need to tell him, sit him down, have a serious talking with him, and tell him that you are a boy, a little boy. You are not a bunny rabbit. You are a little boy. You are not a little girl. You can be attracted to whoever you want, but you are not a girl. You are a boy. Because you were born with a penis. Why is that so hard? Why in that situation would anybody feel the need to coddle the child? To cater to his mistaking of his thoughts. Because just as we feel a certain way in a certain moment doesn't mean that's how it is. Like, Jesus Christ. And like I said, it has nothing to do with being homophobic, because I'm not homophobic. I have no problem with anybody sleeping with the same gender, or sleeping with the same sex. It's not my problem, it's not my business. I personally don't want to have sex with a dude. But I don't care if you do. Whatever floats your boat, whatever gets your rocks off, whatever. Holes is holes. I don't care if you're a woman and you wouldn't have sex with a woman. Be my guest. I don't care. I honestly don't even care if you're a man who thinks you're a woman. But just don't expect me to say that you're a woman when you're a man. It's pretty simple. And I think a lot of it is weighing on my mind recently, because all over social media we have the attempts to normalize things. So we normalize calling people by their preferred pronouns. Well, if you have to normalize something, it's probably not normal to begin with. If something doesn't feel natural to human beings, we should not normalize it because it is not normal. It shouldn't be acceptable for people to have meltdowns because a girl who clearly looks like a girl got misgendered and called a girl. That shouldn't be acceptable. That should be frowned upon to have a meltdown because somebody called you a girl because you are a girl. We shouldn't be catering to people's mental illnesses, because it is a mental illness. Gender dysphoria is a mental illness, and it should be treated as such, just like any other illness. Like addiction is an illness. Do you sit there and let the addict be an addict? No, you tell him that he's fucking wrong. That it's wrong and he needs to get help. If somebody has multiple personality disorder, do we tell them that they actually are 5 different people? We validate that they're 5. No, they're one person, but they have a mental illness that makes them think they're 5 different people, and they should be getting help. We should be helping them to figure that problem out. It's a problem that needs to be fixed. So please stop with the fucking normalize this and the normalize that and normalize everything. Like, I'm done. I don't want to normalize anything, because if I have to normalize it, it's not fucking normal. Jesus Christ. I haven't been this fired up in a while, and I feel like I've been kind of holding this in, trying not to piss people off, trying not to upset people, but like, at the end of the day, why would you ever do that? Why would you ever try not to upset people? If it's something that you feel, say it, and if the other people don't want to hear it, then that's too bad, because then at the end of the day, it's really how you feel. What else can we talk about that we've been normalizing? One of the most popular ones on Twitter I see a lot is normalized body acceptance, and talking, so basically saying, you know, normalize not being fat phobic, don't body shame people, being severely ultra super obese is okay. Like, that's one of the things that I see on Facebook and Twitter a lot, that normalizing not body shaming. And not saying that I think people should be shameful about their bodies. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's just what other people say. People say, take any type of criticism to somebody as a shaming. Like, oh, you're shaming him. No, I'm not shaming him, but he's very fucking unhealthy. He's going to die of a heart attack in 5 minutes if he doesn't get on a fucking diet. Yes, normalize being fucking normal and telling people things that are, and normalize being real. Normalize living in fucking reality. We don't live in some fantasy made up fucking land. This is the real world. And it all goes back, it all can be connected back to the original point of this episode, which was to talk about society. And I started by talking about if society collapses and humans are left on their own. And there's no normalizing shit in a post-apocalyptic world, in a Walking Dead situation. Do you think anybody's going to care about your fucking feelings? Do you think anybody's going to care that you're a man who thinks that he's a woman? No. In the eyes of a post-apocalyptic fucking world, you're going to be a fucking man. A feminine man. That's all there is to it. The world isn't black and white, but in some cases it is. Don't tell me something is something when it's not. That's all I'm saying. Here's another one I saw on Facebook. Normalize using filters in editing apps. They are created to enhance and beautify someone else's photos. So yes, let's normalize what we constantly shame magazines and supermodels for doing, which is editing their photos to be something that they're not. Let's normalize that. No, how about we just normalize being our fucking selves? I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of the normalization of weird shit. We live in reality. We live in a world, in a society where things are just fucking weird. And if you say that they're weird and you act like things that aren't normal, then you're the bad guy. That really pisses me off. And just to be clear, just because something's not normal or because it's weird doesn't mean that it's a negative thing and that that person is a waste of space or a waste of life. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that a transgender person is a waste of space or they don't deserve to be living or anything like that. I don't hate them. I'm just saying that we as a society should not be like coddling them to their mental illness. Like, why would you ever coddle somebody's mental illness and enable them to be even more mentally ill? Like, what are we doing? It doesn't make any sense here. So, no, I'm not a bigot because I find it weird when somebody wants to be addressed as a woman, but they're a man. I'm not a bigot because I find that weird. Because it is weird. It's fucking weird. It's not normal. It's not biologically normal. Trust the science. It's not normal. Jesus Christ. I don't want them to go fucking kill themselves. I don't want them to feel as though they are a waste of space or a human life. But they also should probably be talked to about their mental illness. That's all I'm saying. That's all there is. Normalize that. Normalize being real and upfront with people. How about we do that? Normalize living in fucking reality. And with that, I leave you. As I say every week, make sure if you enjoyed this episode, like and share, comment, whatever. Also, don't forget there's a Discord server link for Ramblings of a Madman. Find that in the link tree where you can find the links to all my streaming services. Like I say every week, keep on keeping on. Remember that we're all gods out here, and have a wonderful day.